Hello, and welcome to episode number 2 of What Are We Truly Passionate About? I feel like really out of breath. And I just started. I don't know what happens to me as soon as it's time to start talking, and especially because I know I'm about to talk to you guys or the camera. I'm always like, whew, I'm nervous. And it's literally just talking to myself. It kind of feels like FaceTime, you know? If you are one of my true OG besties, or honestly anyone I contact pretty regularly, I'm probably calling you on FaceTime. So this probably feels like one of those calls in my head, because I definitely will do all the yapping if you give me the chance to. Today we're in different vibes. I kind of like the idea of being able to hop around from place to place. I literally just have my iPad, the mic, camera, and we can hop and film anywhere. So episodes are not going to stop on my accord. As some of you guys know, and I'm kind of repping it today, I've kind of been repping it in all my episodes as of now. I mean, I only got 2 though. But I just got back from New York, and there's something about that trip. I literally cannot wrap it around my finger, but I feel I need to ingrain their hustle culture in my day-to-day life because it's just next level. I feel like I want to be that driven everywhere I go. And so that's something I've been thinking about. So I feel like right now I've been feeling very pulled in a lot of different directions because I really am on my side hustle vibes right now, and that is all I'm doing. Which is fine because it's better than no motion, right? That's what I told myself. I would rather be busy with a lot of side hobbies and have consistent income coming in rather than sitting at home broke and sad. That's not it. So yes, this transition period is super odd, still trying to figure out what I want life to look like. But here's the thing, I also am trying again. Here I go again with I'm trying way more than I probably let on. Every day I feel like I am just on my laptop, my iPad now, on my phone, looking up just different jobs in the area. But the issue is I don't want to feel like I'm moving backwards. So yes, there are probably jobs that I probably do have a pretty good chance of getting pretty quickly, but they don't sound fun. I've already had a not fun job. I don't want another not fun job. So I'm really pushing myself to just try and find positions that I can see longevity in. There is something that I am really, really looking forward to, and I want it to come to fruition, but the issue is it's just a lot more than I realized. And so yes, I do kind of feel like sometimes I am pushing my dreams to the side, but I also know myself and know that if I really want something, it's going to keep coming back, even in different ways. So kind of like this, right? I told you guys, or maybe I didn't. Here's some more lore about me. Shout out to Kyla. She's one of my besties. During my sophomore year of college, we were, it was COVID era. We're cooped up in our rooms. I was like, let's start a podcast. We get on Omegle. We made up names. So we'd get on there and we were like, hey, what do you think our names are? People left and right are giving us all these different names. Super weird experience. And then we're like, perfect, secure the names. And we make this podcast. I will not air it out. That is going to stay locked up. I feel like I'm an open book. And then you ask me about things like that. And suddenly I'm like, I don't want you to know about that. So, yes, I did have a podcast before. And I've thought about starting another one before. Because I used to have this little series on my TikTok that was called Matcha and Conversations, and I was going to make it a bigger platform with one of my best friends, Cody. I have tried to start podcasts with just about all my best friends. I'm like, who wants to just sit and talk? This is all we do, so might as well gain something out of it. I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. There's something super fun about just being able to come out and chit chat. I don't know. In a really sad, weird way, I kind of feel like I've been a little lonely. It's not because I don't feel like I'm surrounded by people, but I don't know that I necessarily feel like anyone that I'm super close with is also going through this exact situation, right? So it feels really hard because I don't want to continuously mope and beat a dead horse over my issues, when I'm also always considerate of the fact that, man, everyone else has really big issues. But it's a really internalized thing because I heard this phrase not too long ago and I was obsessed with it. And essentially, it is just because someone is drowning in 12 feet of water versus three doesn't mean they're both not drowning. And so I have a really hard time of sometimes, I don't want to express how I'm feeling because I feel like it's selfish when someone else is going through something else. And again, that's my own issue. Like, I need to work on that. I have established that and I'm trying to look at it in that light, but I feel like it is, like it's just one of those weird moments of like, oh my goodness, like you're telling me some really serious things and I'm crying because I got my fifth rejection letter from a job. Like, I don't know. Time and place though, so I'm sure it really is super dependent on what the conversation is, who you're with. Obviously this is not for like your super close group of gals. Like, that's how I feel. Like, obviously I can tell them these things all the time. I do beat that dead horse, unfortunately. But I think when I'm also in this phase of trying to find new friends and like divulge in my life and really start telling people these big factors, it does kind of feel a little selfish. I don't know. I don't want to expose like the bad in my life. And again, like, I feel myself getting a little weird right now where I'm like, oh, like, I feel like I should quit talking about that. Girl, this is your podcast. You can talk about whatever you want and how you're feeling, I just really do have this deep gut feeling of, why are you complaining when someone else out there could have it worse? And that's just real. I don't know. I want to be optimistic and believe that better things are coming for me rather than dwelling on the bad. So kind of as I mentioned before in the beginning, I'm doing a lot of side hustles right now because I don't have something super stable that I'm obsessed with yet. All will come in its due time. But these side hustles, I feel like I am in my bag. Like, I am really trying to work as hard as I can. Even my sister noted this. And I am notoriously known as someone who hates working. Dare I say it, probably the worst worker you could meet. But my sister was like, you know what? I'm really proud of you. Ever since we've gotten back from New York, I've noticed that I feel like you're trying to work really hard to make sure you're pulling yourself out of this situation. And I was like, thank you. Literally, thank you, thank you, thank you. But you know what? It is all just not because of me. It's because I literally cannot sleep at night. Yeah, I've admitted it. The issue is, I have a lot that's keeping me up at night, and I want to find solutions for all my problems. At the end of the day, I'm going to call it what it is. I'm a control freak, and I don't know how to fix it. So that kind of brings me into the topic for today's episode. What is keeping me up at night? So I'm going to be honest with you guys. As much as I could sit here and say it's because of my screen time, I am probably on my phone and my iPad now more than I would like to admit. But I also have probably more time than your average person right now. Remember, your girl's unemployed, okay? These side hustles only do so much. But one of the biggest things that is keeping me up right now is feeling like I have a lack of direction. I mean, I feel like I used to be the girly who had zero emotions, and I was going to bed because I had zero thoughts up there. Nothing was keeping me up at night. It was kind of rare that I would think about something for a really, really long time. Now I feel as if I can never get my brain to shut off. And so right before bed, I will randomly be having like a really good time, and then I will see something. And suddenly I'm hysterically crying or like fighting the urge to cry because I'm like so filled with this like, what is going on? Like trying to figure out what is life right now. And like I said, it really is just feeling like I have just zero sense of direction. I admitted this in the last episode where I have so many things that I'm so obsessed with that trying to figure out where to start or where to niche down on something is really hard for me. So I can have a great day, and then at the end of the day my parents were chit-chatting, because I'm a girly who lives at home. On the other side of it though, it's like, how's your job search today? I'm like, and then they're like, those side hustles are not going to maintain this lifestyle. And I'm like, oh, gosh, don't you worry. I think about it every day. That's not like a real job for you. And I'm like, oh, I know. I think about this way more than you realize. So therefore, I have these conversations that I think about, and I'm like, oh my God, everyone is so disappointed in me. My biggest fatal flaw is that I'm so worried about everyone's perception. So I feel as if, having these real conversations, even with my parents, I'm like, oh my God, they think I'm a failure. And that is all that's running through my head. So I feel like that is one of the biggest things that is keeping me up right now. I genuinely feel like I will not be satisfied until I see the success I want, And especially right now, I'm not looking for your most typical high and dry quote unquote success. Like, I went to college, I got the job within my major because I can do that. Unfortunately, I have a degree in a field that still does have quite a bit of openings. And I bet your bottom dollar I could go back and try and apply, and I would be able to get a position. But that doesn't mean I'll be happy in it. So right now, that's what we're working on, trying to think of ways to navigate exploring while also not feeling like I'm disappointing everyone. It's funny to think about now because when I was younger, the things that kept me up at night were scary movies. I was so afraid of them. Genuinely don't know what caused such visceral reactions, but I remember being so afraid, had nightmares because of them. I still to this day would tell people I hate scary movies. If a scary movie comes on, what in the trauma response is going to happen? I'm going to fall asleep. I'm not even going to entertain it, not going to watch it. Now, on the other hand, within this last year, I have gone out of my way, and I go to the movie theaters a lot. I've gone out of my way to see 2 scary movies. One, I went back alone to see again because I liked it so much. And I'm actively seeking them on my streaming services because you know what? I have real life fears now. I'm actually afraid of real things. Those movies are nothing compared to what is going on in my head at all times. So that's kind of one of the funny things where I'm like, girl, it doesn't matter. Like there's certain things that don't matter, but you know what? What does matter to me? My control. I'm so obsessed with the idea of being able to control things, whether it's this imaginary schedule that I've made in my head and now I'm mad at everyone because nobody knew that we needed to be ready at 5 o'clock, even though I said that, I am actually worried about not feeling satisfied with the life that I'm living. Yeah, let that sink in for a moment. And you know what, as scary as that seems, or did seem to me at the time, quite frankly, the easiest way to get me in my feelings or make me feel a little bit scared in life is realizing that everyone around me is getting older. I'm super hit or miss about myself. Like sometimes I love getting older. When I turned 24, I literally was crying happy tears. I was so happy to turn 24. I hated being 23. It was not it for me, right? So I was like, I love being older. Like every year, it's just 1 year closer to, me really being where I need to be. But when I think about other people getting older, it like actually makes me really sad, such as my parents or my siblings. But mainly my parents is where I think about it all the time. Where even now, like living in your childhood home and just like seeing the differences of like what my parents used to do when we were younger and realizing like, oh my goodness, like they are getting a little bit older. Like they're not their same version of themselves. Like I feel like I finally looked at them and was kind of like, oh wow, like that's not the kid like version that I remember you as. And it's no shade. Like I think I love them like 10 times more, as I get older and just realize how much they've done for me. But that's what kills me. Like last year, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but well, I didn't let people realize this. Again, kind of thinking of all my issues. Okay, so last year, it was the month of March, I would probably say. I really started, like really showing all the cracks of things are not going very well for me right now. And it was the first time that I felt like people could actively see that, which made me, like, I'm probably about to start getting, like, emotional now. I'm not gonna cry in the second episode, that's OD. But, it was the first time I felt as if people were seeing all my cracks. And I felt like the life that I was, like, showing to everyone was kind of, like, cracking. Like, people were like, hey, you're like a really anxious girly. Are you okay? Like, you seem to be really worked up by everything. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally fine. And deep down, I was not fine. Like, you can see me, like, right now, it makes me so sad thinking back for that version of myself. I lied. Maybe I will cry in episode 2. And I'm not even, again, I'm crying more because of, like, the sentiment. Like I said, I think about this a little too long. Always gonna have some waterworks. So one of the biggest standout things, though, that happened during that period in time was every single day after my dad would get off work, he would always come straight into my room, like, fully try to have real conversations with me. And, like, every day would, like, sit in there for, like, what felt like a little too long, right? And I was like, oh, this is kind of odd, whatever. And then I felt like there was a wave of calls from my siblings, and everyone was, like, really showing up. This is, like, oddly healing. So basically, one of my sisters brought up, yeah, Dad mentioned that you seemed really sad, and he really wanted us to make sure that we were always checking in on you so you know that you're never alone. Like, how sweet, you know? So just realizing that, like, one day that this is not going to be a luxury that I will one day have also keeps me up at night. Like, I'm always like, oh, you were so mean to Mom and Dad yesterday. Like, you need to be extra nice today. Go sit out in the living room. Go hang out. Like, those are things that, like, I feel like will also drive me to, just want to be better. Like, when I truly think about it, instead of trying to, like, hide these feelings and, I'm like, ooh, that's getting really serious. Let me open up TikTok. I have to quit that. Okay, so there's a little challenge that I want to start including in each episode. Basically, there's going to be one thing that we have to task ourselves to do, maybe a couple, it just depends on the week, the topic, and we try it out. I think it kind of helps you realize you're not that alone in these situations, especially for me. Like I said, I have a really hard time of having these open and honest, vulnerable conversations because I'm too afraid to feel like I'm about to steal someone's thunder, which is crazy because people think I'm, like, obsessed with being the center of attention. So, like, if you really knew me. Okay, but the challenge this week, I admitted to having an insane amount of screen time, and like I said, it's really a distraction. Instead of trying to, like, handle issues head on, I might get on TikTok or any social media just to kind of, like, blur the lines of what's real and what's fake and not really focus on my own issues. This week, I don't know what my actual screen time is. I will have my screen time on the screen. Sorry for my audio listeners. But the goal is we will minimize 30 minutes each day. And you know what? Like, that doesn't seem like a lot, but by the end of the week, that's going to be 210 minutes. So, tons of extra time that you can save and actually deal with real issues with. I don't know. Hopefully that could be something fun that we challenge ourselves with. Thank you guys for letting me be vulnerable today. I love spending this time with you, and talk to you guys next week. Hopefully we really figure out what I'm really passionate about then. Bye.